So you know how we do at the INO podcast already. We love to have great conversations with great drinks. And with that being said, I'm happy to say that we are sponsored by Campari. So let me tell you a bit about Campari now. The unique, intense nature of Campari's vibrant red color and multi-layered bitter taste is the trademark of a connoisseur, stimulating the senses through a captivating visual and taste experience. I want you, if you have not tried this already, to try this. We love Campari, have it INX line. Campari, respect the bitter. This is the I Know podcast where we all about healthy debate, honest conversation, and talking beer junk. Information, knowledge, observation. This is the I Know podcast. INO, information, knowledge, observation. Also, I know nothing. We got a man like Mosi in the building. We got Kofi in the building.
Yo.
We got Romar in the building. We got the newest member of the team in the building, Gianni. Big up Gianni. My name is Marcus Myers. And we have an up-and-coming DJ who is he's aspiring to eventually one day make it on the world stage, and we're here to give him some words of encouragement.
Thank you.
This,
Listen, we all need words of encouragement. That's a serious thing. That's a serious thing.
This is our most requested guest in the last 5 years, outside of course, the Prime Minister. Y'all, I don't know if y'all getting that one. I swear, I don't know. We're working on it.
I could pull that string for you, man.
You do that for me, for real?
Yeah, that is sweet boy. We got some records, man. We got some records, baby.
We have no record.
Let's drink real strong.
This person is a household name in the region, and out of 7 billion people, he is one of the best DJs. We have to say,
that's crazy.
This person needs no introduction.
What?
If you do the math, right, it's actually crazy, how much of an. Anyway, without further ado, this person needs no introduction. We welcome to the I Know podcast, DJ Puffy.
Hey.
Big up yourself, my brother. Big up yourself.
First podcast in a long time.
In a long time, indeed.
Like years.
Yeah, we was talking on your phone. I really, they said dog, outside of your career, I don't know how much we know about Andre and the driving force behind Andre. So we can talk about that today. We could start hot, or we could gradually ease into it. I can start hot though.
Oh my God.
I was gonna give you a choice, right? But I said, nah, we can start hot. That's how we can do it, right? Okay.
This algorithm, you know. That's CTR.
Yeah.
I know the terms.
Yeah.
You guys tell me when to count this thing. I know the terms.
I have had a conversation several times that you are the best international act to ever come out of Barbados. And I'll tell you why. When I look at an artist, right, usually I am in awe of the fact that they can do things that other people can't do, or they have these blessings bestowed upon them that allow them to do these skills that many people can't really meet and that kind of thing, whatever. But when I look at you, I see something different. Is that I see 3 things. I see hard work, discipline, strategy. The thing about that, though, is those are all things that we have access to and that we do every day.
100%.
But you have them, everybody else has, but the way that you approach your work, strategy, and the discipline, I have to say that is more admirable than something that, is more than just luck and chance of having a certain talent that you're gifted with. So when I look at them, I am in awe. When I look at you, I am inspired of the way that you use those 3 things in your career. How can I, in my own career or whatever I'm doing, get to that point? That has been my case for why I believe you are different from everybody else. What are your thoughts?
I'm extremely humbled. Thank you.
I want you to brag a bit, though. This is the I Know podcast. Let me keep it real. Let me keep it funky.
You work hard, brag.
I am not a braggadocious person per se, but I was speaking to some friends from the NTI. And this was earlier this week in Tongue. And the questions that they asked me were very, very interesting. And it called, I actually had to study the questions before I went to do this interview. And they asked me, to give them 5 characteristics or something that I have, and discipline was one of the main ones. It's interesting because whatever definition you just gave, I was like, yo, this guy's crazy. Like, you know what I mean?
Sounds like Marcus.
But
I mean, that's still true.
That's the basis of the show, really.
But it is true, yeah. We all have access to those things. But at the end of the day, I always tell Matthew, if anybody can be better than me, they gotta work harder than me. And you ain't gonna work harder than me just so. You understand? I've been up from 4 o'clock this morning.
Wow.
I've been in the studio from like 5, 6 till when I called you, which was what?
That was about 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Yeah, then you were supposed to be here.
Yeah,
but then,
sorry.
but the thing is, right, is that the reason why the thing that you're not here for is the thing that we're interviewing you about. So I can't even be mad at the man, big man.
I was like, yo, you know when you catch a vibe, like,
but that's true though.
Yeah, I was making a remix. Just had an idea and ended up catching a vibe with a song, and yeah, remade the song, put some samples in it. But yeah, back to the topic. You gonna work harder than me, and you're not gonna do it just like that.
Right.
You're not gonna do it just like that because I am aware. I'm aware. Because just like everybody else, I used to look at somebody and be like, yo, I wanted to be in that position. So I was like, I gotta work twice as hard as you because you working to maintain, I working to catch up and then to, you know what I mean? And I understand, and I will never forget what it means to have to work that hard to get there. So I'm not gonna fall off on that end, on that side either. You understand? Because I know there's the next dude who's probably gonna be like, well, yeah, I want to be the next Puffy, or you know, I want to be in that position. Or there are people who would see a performance or listen to a set and be like, well, yo, I know I could do it better than that. Well, do it then.
Right.
I like that.
The thing that has me right is when I think about.
But you ain't gonna do it just so.
You think about Puffy, right?
I'm very competitive. I used to play a lot of sports, so I'm very competitive.
Oh, so you're competitive with other people, not like, you know, people say like, I just compete, but I just want to be like better than what you was yesterday. You also want to be better than everybody else too.
Well, but if you let me figure out how to word this because I don't want to be mistaken.
Listen, not politically correct thing.
No, I know.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
I just don't want to be misunderstood.
Okay.
If you aim high in anything that you're doing, there are gonna be people around you who are going to be in the same circle, you know, in the same realm, in the same field. Everybody's position is different, but people's position can also be very similar. Therefore,
sir,
if I see you in a position that I would love to sample, I'm not saying that I'm going to do exactly what you're doing in that position, because when I get there, I'm going to be me, right? I'm going to be myself through and through in any position, in any position I get, I can be myself. But I think it's completely okay to look at a model that somebody else has and try to wiggle your way into it and then tailor it the way that you want to tailor it. You know what I mean? I necessarily didn't just randomly wake up and be like, well, yeah, my brand is gonna be this, and this is how there were people that I saw that I emulated, that were in positions that I admired, and I tried to do the work in order to get close to where they were.
So you kind of reverse engineered it. You saw where they were, and then you said, what do I have to do? And then work backwards, and then start from there. How you gonna get to that point?
Create systems, and then keep working at the systems in order to, because the systems would create the discipline, right? And the discipline then would create habits.
If you don't let me ask,
and then
like, this is in your entire life, or you like talk about DJing?
It's I feel like I've applied this to my entire life as well. For example, at school I used to run 400s, right? We had a coach named Fidel, Abu, right? I was not the fastest guy when I started taking track seriously. But I went training every day. If I didn't feel like going, Amherst would come and say, yo, or Jeremy would say, yo, we getting training.
Big up Potter, big up Amherst. You can't sing this, though. Big up Amherst, big up Potter.
Yeah.
I don't know what. But yeah, they will always be like, yo, you training today? I know. You training today. I wasn't the fastest guy. I wasn't always the fastest guy, but I went to training every single time I could. A year passed, and I remember I ran a race. And I might be wrong about this, but there were people that used to blind me that get blind that year.
Yeah, like that. We talking.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Drop it for your table. You got to show me, man.
Pass me.
Yeah. But
not
no
get
more.
past that year.
Yeah, right.
But that was Ronaldo though.
Was he?
Nah, I think Bourne have beat me that year still. I think Bourne actually won that race. And, I came second. I think I came second. I wore a red shirt and some black tights. I had a Jesus Christ, boy. I had a pair of Adidas track shoes that were orange and black.
So you might say Essex.
Nah, from East Bay. R.I.P. East Bay, boy.
Yo, big up Bourne, boy.
Bourne actually won that race, but I think I came second. But there had some men that was in the smoke that year, Shannon.
Shannon get washed up.
Tersman get take an L. I remember that. And I was just like, well, yo, I didn't expect to win that race, but
you always had that, though.
I didn't expect to be top 3, but I qualified.
Wow,
But it's just systems and discipline. I wasn't the fastest guy, and I don't even think I was like one of the first picks for the track team for into school, but I just trained and I got faster.
There's a saying that goes, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems, right? And I wanted to know when it comes to actually your systems, would you be able to like get into that of like what habits you would integrate or certain things that you make sure to always do?
What habits that I would
or values that you would always make sure to be consistent in anything you do?
I think the first thing for me to do is to clearly define what it is that I want. Clearly define. Because if you don't necessarily have a clear enough vision of what it is you want, then your road is get kind of blurry. After that, I try to find people in the positions, look at what they do, and I always ask, what can I do every day in order to get myself closer or to the next level?
Every day.
What can I do every day? So for instance, I want to get better at producing.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do every day to learn more about sound design or to just develop a better ear?
Mm-hmm.
Make some shit. Put something down. Watch a YouTube video. Watch a tutorial.
Best college, yeah.
Yo, I got plenty things I learned on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. The best college.
Let me tell you. Sit down in somebody's session. Clearly, and write these things down. Still old school. I still write down things. Still journal. And be like, okay, cool. When I wake up, let me do one of these things. Also, what's very important is to take control and to shape your environment. So for me, for instance, when I was training for Red Bull, I went to Scratch Academy in New York every day. From opening, there were sometimes I was there before the doors were even open. And I was just outside waiting for the girl to open the door. And I stood there from opening till close. Put yourself in that environment. Because when you in that environment, you can't do nothing else but that thing.
Right.
So this is before the entry?
This is when I knew I got in.
Right. Okay, cool.
And I spent some time in New York. Yeah. I went to Scratch Academy every day.
I find it so interesting when I look at all the things that make Puffy, right? Which would be your DJing, which would be like the turntables or whatever. I know that one can help me with that as DJs. One can help me with the words, right?
Turntables.
The turntablisms, right?
Yeah.
That is the word.
Exceptional at that. Miking, exceptional, right? In terms of branding and I guess strategic. Branding 1, strategic marketing 2. COVID still in here? We doing COVID or not?
No.
Oh, no, COVID done. Oh, no, we
Are we doing COVID? It's such a funny sentence.
Yeah, are we doing COVID or not?
COVID.
Get low.
Yeah, COVID. Yeah. COVID. There's COVID-19 for real. Yeah, okay, that COVID crossing. But in terms of your being on turntables, from miking, from your branding, and then strategic marketing online, etc. All 4 of these things require different skills or techniques or a certain level of consistency in all of them. And you are exceptional at all of them independently. And if you follow the breadcrumbs back to one thing, it could be like your mindset and that kind of stuff.
Mindset is important, like hands down for everything. Everything. I was gonna wait until you finished talking, but you said the word.
Mindset. Well, how would you describe? Not how would you describe how would you describe the right mindset to have? And if you want to do all of those things, because obviously you have it, but I would just like to know if you could like pinpoint exactly what that mindset is. So we offer the systems now. We're not talking about the mindset to get all them things do.
I think first of all, when it comes to shaping your mindset, it's important to tell yourself and understand that you are a student. You don't know everything, and you are there to learn. Become flexible and teachable. You understand? Because then only if you decide, COVID spread.
No, if I clear my throat, I know it. What away. 1, 2, 3.
Then and only then, when you understand, I'm a student and I'm ready to learn, or you decide you're ready to learn, that's when your brain is gonna start to shift, and the information that you get is gonna start to change how it is you see things. You understand? Because if you're not teachable, then you're not gonna change how you see things, and if you can't do that, you can't elevate.
Can you give an example in your journey of a time where maybe you were not flexible enough, and you then looking back, you said, well, I learned I had to be more flexible or more teachable at a certain point. Is there any time that you maybe saw that you had to like shift your mindset towards that?
I don't recall having friction when it comes to being teachable. I think I always listen. But an example that I could use would be let me tell this story. When I was at SLAM, right? I was on the radio, and one day, folks gonna laugh, Scratch gonna laugh at this. One day I went to work, and there were no sound effects in the system. So I called Scratch. I said, ain't got no sound effects in the vault, what happened? Everybody gone like they ain't know what's going on. Man, that's smooth, man. Smooth. Ain't got no sound effects in the vault. What happened? Long story short, I was overusing the effects on the radio.
So he meant take them out.
So the man take them out.
What I thought you was gonna say, right, is because of that.
Pissed. I'm like, yo, so nobody could come and tell me nothing.
Right, like no one
Like
said
these
you're
big people.
They could have though.
You could have just called me and sent me a
Yeah,
message.
you're using
Be
too
like,
much.
yo, you're using too much sound effects.
Between me and you,
You're doing that too.
Yeah.
Bro, I was so pissed. The only thing I do is cuss bad word. I was pissed.
You should have been ready and be like,
Listen,
On the mic, it's
no.
they would have sent me home. They would have sent me home. They would have sent me home. Nah, I ain't gonna tell them like, I ain't gonna kind of like,
More effects.
beer, bad man chew, come on the radio that easy.
Yeah.
Me not like people. No, me not like people.
But I know it was a good set though.
Me not take intimidation. But then, after that, I was like, all right, no problem. The man says too much.
Right.
And then when I listened back to the before and the after, I was like, okay, I see what you guys are saying. And you know, tear the ego apart and just be like, yo.
How many years at SLAM you were when that happened?
I was probably in like 4 or 5 years.
Oh, you were seasoned.
Oh yeah,
You were
you was
seasoned.
in it. You was in it.
Oh, that was a prank.
That was a no prank. Them dudes were serious. Big up Scratch and Smooth saying that.
In my mind, this is like week 5, B.
Nah.
Past probation.
There was also another time earlier, could have been week 5. It was late because I used to do the late. Like they would put me on when I was interning, like midnight to 2 o'clock.
I remember that.
While I was at school.
I remember that.
Sure. We was tuned in.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
Thank you. It's because of y'all. It's because of y'all, boy. But yeah, I remember a time Scratch called me and he was like, Puffy, just stop talking. I was like, damn, bro.
Mr. Hector, what?
Damn. Stop talking. But yeah, it was probably real shit. I don't know. You could curse on this?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
You're wearing a Russell hat. We didn't tell you to take it off. It's totally
I feel
fine.
we already passed that a long time, bro. Long time.
We put the link in the description.
we actually.
But he said that. It's hilarious,
Yeah,
though.
I mean-
Man saying we are putting my link in your description.
That is a flag.
And if when this go live, I don't see it, I put it in the comments.
I'm gonna get one of these fucking hot.
And you got a pin the blasted comment. But yeah, I was like, damn, like I really gotta work on my announcing.
Yeah.
And I did that. I listened. Scratch advised me to listen to this guy on in Trinidad, Rodney Fireball King. And I listened to him every day. He was working 6 o'clock. And I listened to him every day, and I was like, all right, cool. I know what's going on. I'm ready to talk now. And then, yeah.
I have some questions to ask you about SLAM, but you
You
go ahead
always-
first,
So to
Kofi.
hear like that's who your model was, is shocking. I thought like you. I listened to this one at all, by the way. Let me just preface with that. I thought you modeled after Barry White.
Really?
Yeah. I've always heard the two of you all and thought this is a similar vibe. And again, not in a bad way.
I think it might be tone of voice.
I think it might just be the tone.
Yeah.
And like again, bigger Tracy all the time, but like how some people say Tracy sounds like Peter Coppin.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I always thought it was like
Yo, shout out to Barry, one of the most incredible people you will ever meet in life.
Really?
I just always figured you just
One
model
of
after
the
Barry.
most incredible people. Such a good dude. Such a good
True.
dude. Yeah. No, for real.
Now that you're here, can I ask you a question? Oh, there was a time when during SLAM when people said there was a point where there's a SLAM voice where everybody started to sound the same.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know what your thoughts were on that.
I feel like Scratch was the pinnacle of radio for us when he came. I mean, he was our boss.
Right. So yeah, that's how it works. That's how it works. So yeah, my
all
boss
the
is
young
still my
guys-
pinnacle.
All the young guys, we kind of emulated him.
Yeah.
And there's still things that I would say today that sounds just like him. You know? I mean, this guy taught me almost everything that I know.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we just all look up to him. And if you look up to somebody, then, you know, piece of them can rub off on you in some way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and if Scratch trained me and I train the next dude, or the next two dudes,
Right.
You know, and they're sitting in with me for 3 hours every day, then everybody's gonna sound similar until they find themselves. You know what I mean? Because that's what radio is. You know, you learn the black and white, you learn the ins and outs, and then you find yourself. You don't know who you are before you open your microphone.
But the thing is about radio too is that people have the luxury of learning like not in front of the entire nation. But in order to learn, your learning curve has to be live for people to then say, well, you sound bad here, we're going on with this, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You just have to take all of that feedback. But you're just trying to figure it out.
The public critique from a Bajan hurts, you know.
Let me tell you.
Hurts me.
It rough.
That's a fact.
That's
a fact.
But I will say this, and I say this in a lot of my interviews. Barbados is a gift and a curse, and I might shift the conversation in a certain way when I say this, but it's a gift and a curse in that people here, just because of how we are, you have no choice but to remain humble. You have no choice.
That's a fact.
And it's not a joke, you know.
Nah, it's real.
It's just because of how we are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Imagine I come in this room, all Hollywood and shit, sunglasses on. Fuck, Marcus gonna look at me, yo. Andrew,
You
understand?
Who is this nigga?
You understand?
Yeah.
You remember when boy cut your ass here? Watch your mouth for real, man. Take off your shades and left your shoes like door, man.
They will remember something.
Right, yeah, they would.
Yeah. So like you have no choice but to remain humble. But on the flip side, what happens when you then have to step beyond these shores and kind of big yourself up so that you can compete with people outside? There are times where I used to find myself in rooms and I just didn't think that I was worthy of being there.
Imposter syndrome.
Real.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to step outside of myself and be like, well, Andre, you've done X, Y, Z to be here. You're here for a reason. Therefore, your input matters.
Right.
If you have to open your mouth and say something, say that. If you feel like connecting with this person, go ahead, introduce yourself. You know, There's so many times where I just kind of linked it to this. You know, like I was in rooms with people and I just felt like, I don't have anything to contribute. But then when I fought that and I did say what I had to say, everybody was like, oh shit, you're that guy.
Right.
Oh my God. Like,
right.
I had no idea. But I wanted to see you forever. Yeah, I wanted to ask you this. Like, and there's people that I
look up to?
Yeah. You know, people that I would have seen and never thought that we would have stuff in common or I didn't even think they would know who I am. But
really?
Yeah.
That is crazy. And any of them that we would know? Who are they? What are their names? That's what I'm. That's my way of just saying that.
Let me see if I could find stories.
I did see you at a P Diddy like party or something at some point in your career.
Was it Diddy? It might have been Swizz.
Oh, or is it Swizz? But yeah, maybe.
So shout out to Swizz Beats, incredible guy.
Shout out to Swizz.
Yeah,
Beats.
when he watches this, he's gonna feel so good knowing that, you know. He got shouted out.
Yeah,
he got shouted out on the INO podcast. Wow, he can feel so good.
Real level.
I know, right? Bare bookings though, brother.
Swizz know about to live. Alicia Keys' husband, right?
Yeah.
We paused this episode of the INO podcast to tell you a little bit about Campari. Campari is one of those drinks that I just love to play around with. Right now, we're drinking Campari with a little bit of soda water and just a splash of orange juice. I ain't gonna lie, right? It can end up tasting just like grapefruit. And you don't know nothing ain't really Bajan like a grapefruit. Campari, INO podcast, we're coming right back to you.
But right, yeah, you got Swizz party.
Swizz and Monique, big up to Monique too. Thank you, Monique. they invited me to Swizz's one of Swizz's Art Basel parties, and I DJ'd that. It was me. Stone Love was there. Lil Wayne was there. Busta Rhymes. Chronix was there. A couple other people. I think somebody came out. It was a surprise. I can't remember.
You already named enough though, like Lil
Sorry.
Wayne, Chronix, like,
When
you have me.
when you were playing at these sets, right? Do you have anything in your
Jeff is another one. Don't try it,
My man.
the drinks really share it today, boy?
Yo, I ain't even said the conversation's so engaging. I'm not even drinking.
My question for you is, when you are in front of these people, do you have anything in your back pocket that can really make yourself stand out as a DJ? Because, I mean, these are guys that I've seen, like, all of the best DJs that go to all the best parties all the time.
Yeah.
Do you usually have, like, a trick that you could be like, when I do this is my car now, you know? This is my Blue Eyes White Dragon.
My trick is that I am from Barbados, and Barbados is in the Caribbean.
Yo.
That's my
Seriously?
Expound on that.
So, and it's not just Barbados, but the Caribbean on a whole, right? We just have a way, our entertainers and our DJs especially, we have no choice but to be engaging. You have no choice but to be engaging as a DJ for a Caribbean crowd. If you are molded here in the Caribbean, you have no choice but to figure out a way to get people involved. Or else,
People gonna stand up and stare.
yeah, people can look at you just like how you looking at me.
Yeah.
Just like that.
But in the fan, Marcus.
Yeah?
But in the
But
fan.
in a so as a DJ, that's 10 times worse.
Yeah, B.
100 times worse. You
Damn.
understand? Bro, they got DJs that come here to play that say, yo, Barbados, your hardest crowd. And I've said it on multiple podcasts. But yeah, just being shaped on this battleground prepares you for any battleground over there. Any of our DJs here in Barbados could go to a party wherever I've been at and shout. Once they can read the crowd properly. Once they can read the room.
I want us to actually diagnose that. What is it about our culture that makes us stand up and fold our hands? And what can we do to change that? Part C, I think, should we change it? That should have been part A, but I will keep speaking because this is a podcast. But I want to know, right? But I want to know, what do you think the reason is? Where does that come from in our culture to be so like stand up and don't really move, and like it takes a lot to impress us?
It's so interesting, man. And I just like to look at these things and dig real deep into them, right? They got a Mrs. Seeley from school.
Large off yourself.
Large off Lionel C.
Big up my Lionel Seeley.
He is so cool. Anyway.
Studies. But we were the good behaved slaves. Like we were the ones that used to be in the house and shit, right? So it stems from there, bro.
I don't want to go in.
It stems from there. If you look at Jamaica. Look at Jamaica.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Look at us compared to Jamaica. Look at how passive we are as a society, and then look at when something happens in Jamaica, how they stand up and how they.
That's interesting.
They don't stand up.
Well,
that's interesting.
how they rebel.
Yeah,
They're people
exactly.
that
The Maroons
we don't
and
rebel
stuff.
against nothing.
Exactly.
We just go on Twitter
But we're
for 2 days.
that's what I'm saying.
Well, 2 days, exactly. Then it dies down.
We are extremely passive aggressive.
Yeah.
That's how we express.
Very strong words.
You know.
Yeah.
We can keep quiet, and then millennia later.
Yeah.
Right, but we ain't gonna do it in the moment.
But Vice too, like when you go behind that, go on Twitter or whatever, you're still behind the screen, you know. It's not to say you went outside Parliament building and said, I am vexed about this. I am at home in the comfort of my bed on a phone. It's not.
And guess what? If somebody butt you in the street and be like, yo, use that man that says so and so and so, you can be like, yo, I know. You know what I mean?
Not a different person.
So it stems from that. Like, we are just the well-behaved ones. And it might take some liquor or some encouragement from other people to rope us into that. But I feel like that is one of the underlying deep-rooted
interesting.
reasons.
That's interesting.
I didn't have this. I didn't want this podcast to like touch on DJing that much because we just kind of want to talk about you and
No problem.
Let's
Your
go,
discipline,
Kofi.
right?
Yeah,
You
you have to.
conversation I had before or whatever with my brother Bigger, DJ Simmons all the time. I remember this night like it was yesterday. This was in Club Extreme. You had an NS7 and a mic stand.
Hell yeah.
And this is when I realized you don't DJ just for people to dance. When you DJ, it's always a spectacle in finding out what the next song is. And that was the catalyst to changing a lot in Barbados, right? And I found it interesting you asked that question because I study you a lot when I studied that DJing. A lot of Bajans don't go out just to party. They go out for a DJ to impress them. And like,
you think so?
Yeah, I genuinely feel that like there was not necessarily not as much nowadays.
Okay,
but especially
from
in
before.
especially in like your heyday, dog. Like,
yeah,
it was always a spectacle to find out like what's the hard mixes boy didn't come up with. Impress me.
That's real interesting,
interesting.
man. Because that's deep rooted in me, like to this day. I don't feel comfortable preparing for a show if I don't have something cool to do.
Right.
And it has to be new and cool.
I wonder.
And I think that's also a driving factor, like, in my performances still to this day. I don't feel
You
prepared.
don't do the same thing twice, dog.
Pardon?
You don't. Sorry, no. Let me not say you don't do the same thing twice. Let me just say back then, like when they used to play in Sugar and thing, I used to see you often.
Yeah.
It was never still.
Yeah.
I don't remember like hearing Puffy. Like I heard this before.
You know what's gonna. Yeah.
As you said, there was always like the stinger.
Yeah. Yeah.
At some point,
I always feel like I must. There always has to be that. Yo.
But then, all of this to say, right? All this is like transition back into what Marcus was asking with the standing up culture thing. If that kind of like built an environment where people are no longer, their focus is no longer the fat, the wine, the bumpers. The focus is no, this man is hard as cut in front of me right now.
But.
Right.
Let me see what you can do today.
Correct. Yeah, correct. There we go.
That's it. To me, that's very interesting.
Week. But let me see what you can do today.
There was a time, and I don't think this is the first time I've ever seen this. I saw there was a time that you did something. You DJed something and you played another song afterwards and mixed something, right?
So DJing.
You did your job. You did your job, right?
Uh-huh.
And everybody stopped dancing, stood up, and applauded. And it was just, I remember that so well. And that was the moment that I realized that was on a beach. And that would have been
I lied. That was probably the first time that I played that Crocodile Teeth.
The piano thing?
Something.
It was probably that.
But
shout out to Rhythm Master. He made that.
But when I saw that though, I honestly realized, that was the point that I realized what it is that you're saying, Kofi, that we did spend a lot of time judging our DJs. Now, do other cultures do that? I don't know.
No.
But it's like we have this, we hold DJing to like a esteem of like,
no.
We're like, we have like a social hierarchy of like who is the best DJ, who is the second best, that kind of thing. And it takes away from the actual like enjoying the vibes of the party. Maybe that could be one of the issues.
Yes. I agree. I mean, I genuinely want to see this. I would love to just see Bajans go and enjoy themselves and start standing up and, you know what I mean? Like start worrying and then start going on Twitter and saying
this boy played very shy.
Play bear junk and rotate. You understand? Like, I mean, come on.
I have something else I want to ask about that, but if y'all don't mind, I don't know if y'all have more things. Sometimes though, Puffy, I do think that you and I'm seeing Just Jay do it a lot more. I find that when the two of you are like getting ready for competition, now you're in competition. I think with competition, y'all have to impress DJs, where it's not necessarily impress like the general person. Mm-hmm. And when you're impressing a DJ, there's some like technical stuff that DJs would like be like, "Yo, that's so amazing," but we would be like, "We don't really know." So then there are times when like say like in a minute, you would mix like 10 different songs back to back. And it sounds good, but when I got a bumper in front of me and I try to jam this bumper, I don't know what to do. So sometimes I feel like if like your competitive mode may sometimes bleed into like fat mode. So, I don't want to know what you think about that.
So for instance, let me tell you why, right? Competitive DJ brain and party DJ brain are two different things. When you're preparing for a competition, it is very difficult to go and DJ in a party the same night. It is very difficult. Because again, you shape your environment, you've changed your mindset.
Gotcha.
And you're laser focused on where it is you're trying to go. And you've implemented systems and you're doing these things every single day. There's muscle memory, there's mental memory, all kind of shit going on. But this is your livelihood. Bills gotta pay, right? This is why it will bleed into, because all you know, especially if you're so laser focused on the competition, is what you've been practicing for X amount of time. It is very difficult for you to practice something over and over and over and over and over again, and then step outside and don't do it.
So that criticism is a legitimate one. You would say.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I've heard
yeah.
people say that they switch these songs a lot and that kind of thing.
Which is why, because I was entered into another competition. I was doing.
Rather.
Right?
Okay. Yeah, I'm not doing it no more.
How come?
Oh.
We'll talk about that when I finish saying what I
All
got.
right, easy.
But when I decided I was gonna enter, I told management, I said, I'm not taking any shows. We in this, and this is all I'm doing.
And Future was open to that?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it was $1 million prize.
Oh yeah, that's
literally.
Yeah, literally. $1 million. But yeah, I decided to drop out.
How come?
I mean, without saying too much, I just felt like, I mean, by being in the world championships of DJing, I thought that the competition could have been run a little better, and it just wasn't up to standard.
That's very fair.
I was like, I'm gonna think. I don't even think I'm involved anymore.
Really?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I decided not to be in the competition anymore. Also because I just signed to a new agency, right?
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Which confused me.
Right. There's so much going on this year, and there's so much to come. That confused you, way?
I don't remember if Matthew said this or if I found it so otherwise. So if I found it otherwise, I'm sorry, but you co-own Dream Real.
Oops.
Okay, never mind. But
yes and no. We formed it together.
Right.
We formed it together.
But the legal work is both of your names?
I don't know. That's Matthew what he put.
1,000.
I could just be playing. Like I just thought, like you owned the company that was managing you, which meant like how do you lose in that agreement? Because like when you make money, they make money. They need you to make money. You are going to make money. So I just found it interesting that there would be an opportunity.
Did you say this in Matthew's episode?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I just found it interesting that you would
body slam
ever sign to somebody else.
For that reason. I mean, just like Shansia and Romesh, you artists have to grow. And shout out to Sujit for seeing what he sees, and I'm now a SKAM artist.
So how has that?
Label mates with Amber Rose, Nick Cannon, Lil Jon.
Wow,
Swizz
that's crazy.
Takes bookings.
That's
Mariah
insane.
Carey. Four Colors Out.
Yeah, big up yourself there for that.
That's different. That's different.
DJ 5, Eric Deluxe.
Yo, drop it. Just one more name drop and then one more name drop.
I don't know. The Irie.
Yeah. And this is now going into business, right? What is that conversation like with somebody that has been there from day one, but you have to grow at some point? As with any artist, I think there are transitions and stuff. How does that conversation kind of go?
Well, I feel like I'm fortunate enough to have people around me who always put the bigger dream forward, or who always put that in the forefront. It's all about growth. It's all about whatever's best for the brand.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's kind of just like what's important is that we define what the lines are very early out, so that they ain't got no bad blood or there are no misunderstandings. Because when things start to get fast-paced, then it's easy for people to be like, oh, well, I thought this was going to remain like this, when really and truly it's not like that. I mean, Matthew and I, we had that hard conversation last week. You know, it was just like, just in terms of, you know, what the numbers are going to be like, you know, and I mean, obviously there's another agent, so stuff has to be split with up there, and without getting too crazy into the nitty gritty, you know, everybody got to eat their food still.
Yeah,
but
decisions are met.
we sat down, we had the conversation. It was easier than anybody would probably think, but we are always forward thinking, and it was a step that needed to be made for the brand, and we always want what's best for the brand. So, and the bigger the brand, the more everybody else eats. So
I want to know, when it comes to like making these decisions, right? You have been at a point now where, because of the magnitude of your brand, and you've been here for years, that you have a lot of opportunities thrown at you. Some of them are amazing, but you can only do one amazing opportunity at a time. So you have to spend a lot of time saying no to things. Have you ever said no to something so you could say yes to something else? But looking back, there's that opportunity that you could have taken. And how do you receive that? Do you kind of dwell on that a bit if you strategically make a move in retrospect that you should have made a different one?
have I ever said no to something and then look back and be like, I don't think so. I feel like even if I couldn't do something at the time, the decision that I made was the decision that was necessary in that moment. And because I made that decision in that moment, it allowed me to grow. And me growing should be okay, because it means when I get back to that thing, it would only be better, right? So for instance, Marcus is having a festival in Barbados, and he called us for a booking. Massive show. However, there was another festival in Bahrain, and it would have allowed me to be exposed to a new set of people, a new audience, and it would have allowed us to make connections and network with people on that side of the world so that we could later then form a tour. If I double back to you next year, I'd be like, yo, you still doing that festival? After I went to, and I did a whole bunch of shows, and I now have my fan base that's massive, and I'm now an even bigger brand, then is it not better for you?
I get you.
To put me on the cast still? And I never feel like I'm too big to do anything. You know what I mean? Like, we always double back. Like, we do good business, so I always double back and be like, hey, you reached out last year. I have this date free. You still doing it? Like, you know.
You remember all the people that you say no to just in case, like?
Michelle has that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Michelle knows. It's not necessarily my job. We do discuss most of them, but I mean, she kind of just knows what to take and what not to take. And
similar as business question, but like, so you're a Bajan born and bred, and obviously you will have your friends and family and acquaintances down here that want Puffy at them Shindig or whatever. Do you have
on the barbecue?
Shindig barbecue in the back.
At the shop plane. Is there? But on a serious note, is there like a way that your brand navigates smaller jobs?
Is there a way that the brand navigates smaller jobs? How do I say this?
I just assume at your stage, some jobs are too small.
I want to tell you what I think it is, but man, he's done.
You are disgusting.
Filthy.
But I think, luckily, I feel like most of the time, I'm just booked elsewhere. I just lucky enough to be like,
I love that.
nah, I can't do that. I'm not gonna be here.
That's such a clean excuse.
Yeah. I just sorry. I'm not gonna be here. But it's true though. It's true.
If I were Puffy's brand strategist, I would always have a quota of the amount of local events that he does in a year, so that he doesn't piss off his core fan base.
Right, yeah.
And so that it doesn't seem as though he has lost touch with his roots.
Because my follow-up question was to be, how do you combat that?
Yeah, so I will never, and this is something that Matthew has drilled. We've thought about this a few times because there were some opportunities that I wanted to take. However, while I make dip out, I don't miss crop over.
Okay.
I mean, you got.
I might leave for 2 days.
Okay.
But I'm here.
Furthermore, in my opinion,
I recognize that too.
Wait, crop over Tuesday? Is it Tuesday before?
Is it Tuesday before?
That's your day, though.
Let me keep it real.
First of all, let me come out and say this on national YouTube Asian.
Right.
Nobody wasn't doing Tuesday before we decided to do Tuesday.
All the things, Puffy, that's your
You
day.
understand?
Sorry,
That's
I was
your
gonna say
day.
something, but I can't say no.
What you was gonna say?
No, but that just crazy. All right, I was gonna say, and this is how I felt about it on that day.
Talk the things, Kofi.
There were a couple of events. I went to two. Let me just say, for the sake of I went to two. And I thought Hyped was a very good international event. That was a Barbados summer climax right there. Because it was something everybody can enjoy.
Correct.
And again,
that's what it is.
And again, I'm going to just be real. I'm going to just be honest. I felt like Mikey's reunion was an amazing soca event
100%.
for a Tuesday.
100%.
So I just think, like,
shout out to Mikey.
For a Tuesday, those are a Tuesday crop over. Those are two different events that everybody could live.
But
who side you on, nigga?
Right? But that's 100% accurate.
I
but
feel
look
everyone
at
can live on that day.
Heights. I don't think Heights and Mikey's thing can compete with each
They're
other.
not.
It's two
It's like chalk
different
and cheese,
events.
dog.
Yeah,
it's two different things.
And I've always been very sure, or I've kind of always tried to emphasize what this party is. You know, there's so many tourists in the country.
Oh, whoa. Sorry, no, I just remembered something. I didn't want to cut you off. That was just a genuinely gasp. It wasn't a gasp, but whatever. Like, people complained, and they found it so interesting.
You can't complain. It's in the advertising.
People complained that there wasn't enough soca hype, and I was, are you mad? You went to hype, dog.
But it's in the advertising.
It is.
We play everything.
What do you think about people saying, though, that because it's like the Crop Over Festival, it's kind of a slap in the face for you to kind of like try to appeal to everybody? What do you think of people saying that?
How is it a slap in the face to appeal to everybody?
It's the same
when
thing.
Everybody come into the country.
Everyone is
But
there.
it's the same thing as like, you know, people have issues when radio stations play other genres. Right. Yeah. It's kind of like, why are you playing other genres at an event that is right at the peak of the Crop Over Festival? I think that's what people have said.
So the supermarkets should only sell orange juice?
Let me not do that, man. I get you.
The supermarket should only sell orange juice?
But can you wait until after?
Orange juice.
Okay, so my question would be, what if somebody said then that you are taking advantage of the season when tourists are coming as a business move to have your event that is not really in keeping with what the season should be about? What if somebody said that? What would you say?
First of all, as somebody who considers themselves a cultural ambassador, right? I strive to be an example or to show the world how talented and how great our DJs and musicians are. Mm-hmm. It would not be in my character to have a party that puts these DJs and musicians on a platform for more people than usual that doesn't allow them to express themselves holistically and creatively. That's not my brand, and that's not what I stand for.
Mm-hmm.
I got here by doing this. So why I can't do anything, I can't do something else at my own thing. I would respect everybody else's thing. I'm not gonna go and play Protocol at Brewster's Road. But
Sorry, it's funny to imagine.
But this is my party.
Right.
And this is what my party is. And the people that come to this are coming with an open mind. They're coming to see and experience how creative DJs are and how good they are at navigating or allowing people to have a good time. And the floor is theirs. That's what the brand is. If you like orange juice, come and drink some. If you don't want orange juice, they got apple juice across your road.
Right. I have always felt that playing 100% soca kind of cuts off all the people who may need to be kind of like you need to kind of package the soca in a way that there are other genres that they like, but then when you ease in the soca, they would then become soca lovers in that kind of way. I think there are a lot of people that are not 100% soca lovers all the time.
I have another argument, and I know somebody would say, oh yeah, he's a cultural ambassador, and soca is we culture. Why Rihanna don't sing soca then?
Oh boy, wow, you went there.
And this isn't even an argument, it's just like pretty much...
Rihanna's not a soca artist. So why can't I play We Fall in Love at my party?
Yeah, but she's also not performing at a soca festival.
She's also not the epitome of Bajan culture.
She isn't, but she's not.
I don't look at
She
Rihanna.
100% isn't not. She's not.
I don't know if I want to be a part of this conversation.
I don't look at... I think it's fair to say I don't look at Robin Fenty and think that is Mother Sally reincarnate.
Right.
I can't. No, but here's my.
But still,
Not
you
because
can
of fake or anything,
But my point is, you could represent the country and not do that.
No, I get you, Puffy, and I get you, and I think they understand 100%. I'm focusing on the Rihanna example. I think if I brought somebody else, I might have given it more fair game.
No, I actually saw another Rihanna example. I honestly, one thing that bothers me like deeply is the fact that a lot of that philosophical approach to what we do in our culture boxes us in to doing the same like very like quintessential Barbadian things as opposed to expanding. What do I say when somebody like Chian, who does not necessarily sing soca all the time, she's the best singer on the island to me right now. Why would I really tell her that she cannot be a cultural ambassador because she's singing something different?
Why?
She's singing a genre that doesn't come from Barbados, but better than all them other people that from that place.
Crazy.
Right.
So are you saying that you can clip her wings for real? That's the same thing as hype. No, at the end of the day, not everybody likes 100% soca at an event.
Right.
But also the fact of the matter is that a part of our culture is one of the greatest DJs in the world currently is a Bajan, and this is his event. Why can't that be Bajan enough? Why not? Why can't he define something for himself? And the fact that does not happen, the fact that we have to hold people to this same standard of you must be doing this 100% soca something. If not, it is an indictment to our culture. It's foolish. I think that's garbage. That's foolishness. And I don't know why you are still in Barbados. You should have relocated because I understand this is no.
Also sells out in Toronto.
No.
Dr. J.
No. This philosophy is a lot of the reason why there is brain drain. 1,000%. 1,000%. Like if I feel like I am not welcome or that my party is not welcome simply because it does not fall within your paradigm.
And guess what? The same DJs that play here in Barbados are the ones that play in Toronto.
I want clarify something quick because like I meant to touch on it earlier, but I think other people talk about it, but
right. Go ahead.
I think it needs to be. I think it needs to be said, right? That
it's gonna be like 3 hours long.
I'm not sure that.
You editing?
Me and Gianni.
Make a Gianni with though. It needs to be said that even though, and I did mention I don't think Rihanna is the quintessential Bajan, etc. I still think it's extremely foolish what we do during the summertime. The summertime in the island where like people like coming in because like they come in and enjoy a Caribbean experience, 100%, right?
100%, bro.
It's crazy that we limit that to only Trinidadian and Bajan music, and sometimes only Bajan music.
No,
and it's silly also that we know instill in our Bajan minds that soca music is June, July, August. So as soca play now in February, people is like, oh, why are you playing soca? Why are you playing summer soca? Playing soca in April? That's a blasphemy because of reggae festival.
I still find parties in Barbados is playing real soca, but
you find in Barbados?
When I go out, the few times that I'm at home, I find that real soca is still playing, and people like a lot of soca.
1 month party. 1 month.
I can't. I mean,
I think that's important.
It's probably also the type of parties that I went to.
Probably be.
Yeah.
Allow me to play devil's advocate for a little bit.
Do your thing, dog.
Let's go.
First of all,
sorry. Go.
You cited one of my artists and so on.
Yes.
So you know where I stand on this.
Yeah.
This is an agreement. But let me play devil's advocate for a little bit. What about the argument that we are diluting our culture? And if we were to use, say, an example like a Jamaica, where they have festivals, these Sting and different things that are cultural things on the landscape for Jamaica, and it has branded Jamaica. And Jamaica, in terms of musical culture and so on, has been, imperial is not the best word to use, considering speaking about Jamaica, but it's an imperial culture because it's exported. People are, Jamaica is known internationally because of a very, very strong cultural export. So what about people saying, well, okay, but Jamaicans don't do anything differently and whatnot. They ain't playing anything, it can be reggae, it can be a dancehall kind of vibe, and they're exporting that almost like 100%.
So what is Barbados export?
Right. So this is the question. So how about the people, maybe the hardliners, the traditionalists, and so on, say, well, look, the problem with us is that we don't have a strong culture, and because we are so quick to dilute our culture, we have a diminished cultural experience for people to really say, well, look, it's harder to brand Barbados because we have been, say, well, we can do a little bit of this and we can do a little bit of that, right? What do you say to the people who cite that as an example?
Let me zip my mouth. Let me talk because
It's forcing that paradigm, forcing that culture export.
So let me solution? Ask this before you answer. One, is there validity to that thought?
Which thought? As in
that I just presented.
The example you brought was major in my opinion. I feel like it's only recently that Jamaicans started to adopt other genres furthermore. Like I think Bounty Killer was quoted the other day complaining about soca in Jamaica. I mean, you could argue Bounty Killer is an old head, but it does stand out from Bob Marley down. Like Jamaica had a reggae dancehall export. I've never heard of anything else coming out of Jamaica. I mean, you will hear about more and more genre come out of Barbados, more and more genre come out of other countries. So I do think there's validity to your example for sure. Mm-hmm. But then, like, I just feel like it's not always an apples-to-apples comparison. So, like, what worked there doesn't necessarily have to work with other countries.
I believe that makes sense if you have a scarcity mindset and not one of abundance. That's my personal opinion. If you believe that you cannot do both, like you can have a very rich, concentrated part of our culture that's exported, as well as have something that can appeal to people that would get a wider audience that may not be interested in that. If you have that mentality that cannot happen, that is a scarcity mindset, not one of abundance.
Do you think that we have both? Both the
what I'm saying is they can have the hyped events and you can also have the 100% soca events without diluting the 100% soca events. The fact that people do not... So, for example, Shensia is waving the flag high, right? But she is partnering and putting herself, aligning herself with a lot of people outside of thing. If you look at people like Skilly
Bang,
look at Pop Can. Look at Pop Can is the perfect example. Pop Can is both of those things in one, you know?
That's the one right
Both of those things in one, you know?
That's the one right there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if aligning yourself with OVO and at the same time still doing his own things, big man, I mean... At the end of the day, there's a way of doing it. Kofi, I mean, people just have a way of doing it. And the fact that we always limit and clip the wings of the people who are the artists in Barbados to only do this one thing, especially soca artists, I feel very strongly about that.
It's
feel like
really interesting because this has been rooted so deeply into the artists that I feel like some of the artists have issues even trying to express themselves in other ways.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's some artists that can't sing anything other than soca. And it's just like, when you send it to them, be like, yo, I could hear you on this. They can't see the vision.
It's a fact.
Because it's not what they're used to. I've experienced it.
Yeah. And everybody running into a saturated market.
It's
Everybody's
crazy.
sounding the same way.
The same way, bro.
Because it's this mold you gotta go on this conveyor belt.
And all it takes is for Chian to make a TikTok on somebody else's beat, and it blows up. and it blows up.
He said all it takes is for her to make a TikTok on your beat.
That can also happen. She go and remix somebody's TikTok, and it goes viral. And they actually make it a song, and then she goes on tour with somebody
get Mafia on the phone.
halfway across the world. And then everybody from Barbados is gonna be like,
yeah. Put case in point. Case in point, right? Amanda Reefer.
Yo,
is she a cultural ambassador? Yes or no? Based on the fact that she was on the biggest album of the year, I think.
She got nominated for a Grammy this year.
She got nominated for a Grammy. Yeah. Is that do we count that or not?
About that?
We have to make a decision.
How many people are talking about that?
We have to make a choice. Are we happy? Are we embracing bajans in all of their different elements and facets and genres, etc.? Or are we gung ho on this is the traditionalist view and we ain't changing from it? That's just weird.
Preach.
And that is why, before you ask, we've been through a lot. As artists, as creatives.
That is a fact.
And I would be the wrongest body to learn as much as I've learned, reach as far as I've reached, to not try to provide an environment for people, not just to learn, but to connect, bridge the gaps, and make it easier.
Okay. This sounds like Puffy Scratch Academy.
So,
it
is happening.
What we are not saying here.
For a slow price of $29. It is
happening.
Don't
Oh my God. That's so funny. That is so funny.
This is a big moment.
We are working on it, and I'm just saying that I will not leave this space that I'm in,
yes, sir,
and not give something back to us.
Okay.
I love that, bro.
Okay.
I find that there's a very strong element, and this is totally outside of money, as in your just philosophy of that. I think is like, I feel like you have a social responsibility to Barbados to some degree, which is the reason why you haven't left, and also. You understand
you live two places.
I don't know.
True.
He ain't left.
Well, I mean, how about left?
You're gonna tell you where my crib is, but
right, you're stationed here, right?
I can't answer that.
Well, that's weird. Okay,
JK.
Okay, but okay. From my understanding, you're stationed here, right?
My address is here.
Right, your address is here.
The mail is getting.
Right? And I feel as though with that and the fact that you always come back for crop over, I feel like you feel like you have an obligation, a moral obligation. Forget money, forget business, forget all that.
Yeah.
You have a moral obligation to always give back. I've always felt that way.
Yeah. And
so yeah.
Like and like you could give back in many ways, you know what I mean? Like we've worked so hard, and we've developed a platform. So if I put Barbados on my platform, that's giving back.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's gonna be like there were so many people that were like, yo, I was thinking of coming to Barbados. You're there. Can you recommend some place to stay? Can you recommend places to eat? I do this all the time. I be talking to random strangers on the internet all the time. I don't have to respond. I know that, and sometimes it gets a little tricky because then people feel like there's your friend and and then they want to meet up, and it's like, whoa. But
security, bro.
Okay, internet, sir.
But you know, I don't have a problem as if I share my country and my culture on my platform, and somebody is interested in experiencing that because I've shared it, then by all means I can facilitate that, and that in itself is giving back.
But you do feel like you have a certain purpose that is specific to Barbados outside of, because I feel like if you were somewhere else, something tells me that if you had to like fully relocate, that you would probably make more money. And the fact that you're here, you may be shaving off a bit off the top of the bottom line, but at the same time, you are fulfilling your duty as a Bajan.
In terms of the first part of the question, we'll see how that goes after this year.
Okay.
Okay.
We give thanks.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes after this year. But I don't think I've been told this before, but when you do the math, when I did the math at the time, everything was fine.
Okay.
Everything was fine. And nothing before its time still.
Mhm.
Like, nothing before its time. You can't rush your brush still.
Yeah.
I believe when it's time for that to come, then that will come.
Softball question. You see, recommend food places to people. Who's recommend?
It's not sponsored, right?
No.
I like Mojo's. I like Cocktail Kitchen is my favorite
Yeah.
restaurant.
Big up Cocktail Kitchen
Kitchen.
for real.
Yeah.
Their food is so good.
Yeah.
They brunch specifically on a Sunday.
Yep.
Never had it, but we'll know.
It's very,
Oh my
very, very,
goodness
very good.
gracious
But
me.
Shout out to Damien.
Yep.
Cocktail
Excellent
Kitchen,
job.
different
Excellent
Yeah.
job.
You
Everybody
should.
there.
You're not paying for this. It's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
You don't get the endorsement from everyone in the room.
Karma just opened.
Karma, big up Karma.
Karma is incredible.
Yeah, that's a great spot.
Right.
So
Great
good.
alignment spot.
So good. So good. Furthermore, I posted the food from Karma last week.
Mm.
My friend messaged me and was like, "Is this food real?"
What?
Wow.
I was like, "Fam, like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know."
What,
It was that
yeah,
good.
yeah. Nah, Karma's very, very good. I go to Oystons all the time.
I am on
All
my
the
favorite oysters
time.
place. Got too much. But
Shakers is
Yeah.
dope.
Mm-hmm.
Shakers
Yeah.
is dope. Where else do I like to eat a lot? Let me see. Up this side. I don't really come up this side.
Yeah, but he's
I
Christ
just find it
Church. He's Christ
interesting
Church,
that-
man.
Yeah,
like
he's
when a
Christ
man,
Church man, bro.
I
yeah.
can't understand when a man.
being a boy kind of
Nah, the boy kinda- my man said, Peter-
like it's offensive, but I get
You might live it on purpose.
I want to shift direction a bit, right?
Sure.
Go
And,
through.
and this is a question about relationships, and a good segue also into social media. There was a time when you decided two different relationships where you decided to make it public on your social media, right? And my question is, at what point in time did you realize that was a bad decision that you made? Because Bajans are the best storytellers in the Caribbean. I just want to know, how do you feel about that? And looking back on merging your personal with your I guess your business, on your business, your brand perception, etc. When you made that, how did that impact you personally anyway?
Matthew and Suan definitely gotta watch this back after. Can you repeat the question,
My
please?
question is, well, I made an assumption that making your relationship public may have also impacted you personally with the onslaught of people just making up things, rumors, etc. And that could have been a detriment to a relationship. That's what I have assumed. But I just wanted to know how did that impact you, knowing that your brand is so big and you kind of integrated the two?
Social media is a really interesting thing, and especially when you're really young and excited, you want to share things with everybody. It's kind of important, especially because our society is so small and the country itself is so small. As you grow older, you learn that not everything is for everywhere and for everybody. And while both everybody might mean well, there are just some instances that things can really get lost along the way and get kind of mixed up and messed up. I'm being very safe here, if y'all could tell.
Yeah.
And I want you to just know, right, that I'm only asking about how the public, what we know about the relationship, which is that it was on your social media,
Right.
and how the public would have
Right.
impacted
So-
it. I don't want to know the integral,
Of
the
course,
inside, right?
I don't think I would. I would share that.
Right. But I just want you to know that for sure.
I don't speak on my relationships.
Yeah. But in terms of how that impacted, having such a big brand and a big following.
But yeah, I mean, there are people that do it, that make it work, and it's incredible, and kudos to them. I just rather play it safe now.
Yes.
Okay.
I just rather play it safe. That calls for a lot of communication, a lot of understanding, a lot of trust, a lot of discipline. And especially when you put things out there, people really want kind of like when you put something in somebody's face, they're almost like, oh, well, let's poke it and see.
That is so true. That's such a good
Let's
analogy.
see.
So she don't post your arm online.
Let's poke it and see.
They had a time, right? The reason why I asked this question, they had a time, right?
But sorry, before you go into that, out of sight is out of mind, right?
Yes.
Yeah, for real.
Yes.
So if you don't want people to have something to say, just don't give them something to say.
There was a time that I was talking to somebody and they mentioned when, the relationship was public and whatever, back in the day when it was going on and stuff. And they start telling me like a whole bunch of stories about what's happening between you and then the other person, etc. And they're going down in detail. And I'm like,
crazy.
But how do you know this stuff?
Are you in it?
How do you know this stuff? She said, a gut feeling.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
Insane, bro. Insane.
Oh no.
I said, have you ever met Puffy? She said, no. I said, well, do you know the other person? She said, not really. So then how do you know?
Yeah.
She said, well, the way they post it, I just feel like
Mm-mm.
you gotta give me a whole bunch of things, big man.
Yeah. I mean,
Freshy stomach.
First,
You
your
know-
stomach,
when it comes to relationships too, like as you I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's personal, right? Andre is in a relationship with somebody, not Puffy.
Right.
Cause Puffy's a brand.
You understand?
Right.
So when it comes to something like that, I don't want something that's in Andre's space to be in Puffy's space. And that's just what it is. Because my relationship makes me feel like Andre. And I want it to be that. It's home. That isn't home. So that does not belong over there. That belongs here.
Okay.
But you know that people feel when you post stuff on
But that's with experience and maturity,
But it's kind of interesting the way people perceive the content that you give them. They almost feel as though they're a part of your journey.
Yeah, they're
with
part of
that.
social
I mean,
Like they
yes,
have
they
ownership on. Like they kind of now are entitled to certain things like information. It's
obligatory now.
Yeah.
They're not entitled because don't forget what you get is what I choose to give you.
Right.
Exactly. But they think that's everything, you know.
Yeah,
It's wild to me.
And this
social media is not real life, bro.
Yeah.
People don't understand that though.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand.
It's crazy.
It's ruining a lot of relationships too.
It has.
But they don't post each other, so they can't be.
Exactly. And
Come
then,
on,
and
son.
then it starts to creep into relationships too. Like, why you
don't post
me?
this or that?
Because they want to keep us.
But study your head, bro, God. It's a post, bro. How like how do you judge and this has nothing to do with how proud I am to be with you. I'm the proudest man in the world. When I stand next to you, I feel amazing. When I talk to you or the impact that you have on me, it's incredible. And it makes me feel like the man I am.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you going to equate the value of our relationship to something
a square
on
dog.
this?
A square.
Yeah.
A square.
Our relationship is so much bigger than this. This cannot, if this shuts down tomorrow,
right?
Yeah.
Relationships still there, dog.
I still gonna lay down next to you. You still gonna make me feel the same way. I still gonna love you.
We've made it part of, validation.
It's crazy.
It's not because guess what? Relationships were here before that, and it gonna be here after that.
And what's killing me is the forcing of it. Like you gotta do all of this for a post.
And I'm not coming down or saying that if you post a relationship, you're doing.
No, I mean,
go long. Yeah, you go long.
Post your girl, you're a girl.
I know somebody gonna screenshot this and they can cut up to a certain point.
Oh, you're a word slander.
And then the whole place, the quote tweets gonna be crazy.
Right.
But to each his own.
Right.
And I'm just saying, what happens in the phone does not define what it is we fundamentally build with our essence.
Real, you're speaking truth.
I totally agree with that.
Man.
In terms of your social media branding in general, there is an argument that we have too. Man, we're doing a lot of debates today. We had a debate. Was it on here?
I'm here for it though, to be honest. I'm here for all
of it, dog. We have a debate.
This is exciting.
Yeah. So okay. So now we're getting into your approach to like strategic marketing and online marketing and stuff, right? I think you have been on the most platforms consistently posting. I think this, and I'm talking about Puffy 7 or 8 years ago when it was like, say like from SoundCloud, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, vlogs, mixes, all kinds of things, right? And I had a conversation with somebody about, is there such a thing as posting too much? Or is the information overload so much on the internet generally that the threshold for actually getting attention has increased, which means that you have to always keep posting. And because there's so much information on the internet, there's no like limit to how much you post. So this is kind of like, we're now segueing into your approach to your social media strategy. But what do you think about that, first of all?
I can speak on myself. I just tried to simplify it and just always be very intentional with what I'm sharing. If I don't have anything to share, then I'm just not gonna share anything. So for instance, if I'm sitting down at home and I feel as though I haven't been on social media for a long time and I go to post a selfie, I ask myself, what am I trying to achieve by posting this? And then what happens? You get kind of introspective and then you're like, okay, well, I probably want attention. So then what? I'm feeding my ego. Is that necessary? No, don't post it.
I love that. Right?
Interesting. That's interesting.
This internal check.
Yeah.
Every
self-awareness is you gotta be on it, man. Like self-awareness is so important when it comes to these things. And yeah, as a brand, you might feel like you missing out. But once every time you show up, what you give is of good value, I believe that you're okay.
How do you do the opposite of that though? Like, you said like you might just be feeding your ego. What if like you just genuinely haven't posted in a while and you have things to share? How do you determine what is worth a share on social media?
How do I determine what is worth a share on social media? What is my objective? What am I trying to show people? How do I want myself to be seen? What am I working on that I might feel like I may need somebody to collaborate with me on? Therefore, I need to start doing something to make myself appear to be the perfect person in the perfect place at the perfect time. Right. You know what I mean? Like, so I might not be super good at it, but I might want to get into a specific field, or I might want to diversify in my brand. So I might start sharing things that will kind of lean into
a certain field.
You see it. So I've been doing some market research, and there's a field that I really want to get into, and this is real life. There's a field that I really want to get into. Therefore, I've been getting my feet wet and making content like that.
This fashion?
Yeah, I've always been into fashion, but in a different way.
Interesting.
Am I making your shoes?
Not yet.
I'm just fishing.
Okay, I find that interesting. So, in my mind, you post every day, correct?
Today was the first time I posted in 2 or 3 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's so interesting that
it
feels that way.
It was like 2 days ago. Yeah.
Okay, but it's okay. But every time you do that,
it feels that way because every time I share, it's intentional. Every time I share something, you actually pay attention. If I was on your timeline every day with frivolous foolishness,
man,
you would just scroll past.
Right.
Also,
That's
probably the way
you won't pay attention.
You gotta study also the markets, the way the algorithm feeding it to you.
100%.
It knows that you're into Puffy, so it's going to show you Puffy whenever you post.
Interact,
you're right.
If you engage,
yes, you're right.
It's gonna be like, oh, this guy likes Puffy. Let's show him Puffy every time.
Okay.
Not necessarily posting every day.
And that's also a way that I shape my environment.
Okay.
So when I scroll, what the things I interact with is either I know you or I want to see more of this.
That's so real, B.
So you intentionally unfollow a lot of things because
you don't have to unfollow people because, I mean, again, sometimes people take the social media thing real serious.
Yeah.
Right.
So you kind of just gotta be mindful of that, and you don't have to unfollow somebody. You can mute them. If you don't want to do that, just don't interact with their shit.
Don't interact with it. Don't, like, it's very difficult.
And the algorithm is not gonna send that to you.
So your algorithm has basically a lot of stuff that kind of assists with your journey in some way. Most of the time.
What I engage with is where I want my mind to be. I shape my environment on social media as well.
Yes, see it too.
I only engage with shit that I want to see.
Okay, would you say is that formulate for you in that? All right, are you
It wasn't always that way.
Oh, okay, that's what I want.
Nah, it wasn't always that way.
So the experience has kind of reinforced that way of thinking. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't always that way.
Yeah,
because when it was in chronological order, it was just a free fall. Right. It was a free fall. It was like, oh, this is what's happening now. Okay, cool.
right.
But Instagram specifically is no longer that, right? It's curated content.
I agree that mentality for sure, because like sometimes you might open Instagram to do something. It happened today. You might open Instagram to like just search for something for some purpose, but then the very first post, it's just something so distracting that you no longer remember your goal. Like you open Instagram for this purpose.
I got ADHD, bro, so let me tell you, like, that's a real small window for me. That's a real small window for me. So I have to be very in tune. And I mean, I aimlessly scroll.
Right.
I aimlessly scroll, but I'll guarantee that even if I'm aimlessly scrolling, 7 out of 10 times, I took in something that fed my mind in a positive way.
Okay. Just to hit on that there, do you think your ADHD helps you in focusing your approach in your marketing based on, okay, this is something that you struggle with, or it's something that's part of your daily experience? You think that helps you in terms of focusing content for people like you and people who have short attention spans? So is it your superpower?
That's a good approach. That's interesting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Is it something you could control, B?
But as a creative, you gotta play two sides of the fence, right? Because sometimes you make something real cool, but it don't get to the meat of the thing till like later down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? As a creative, you're like, well, yeah, this is great. So people are gonna watch it. But the average Joe is gonna watch 3 seconds and just be like, whatever.
Right.
So you kind of still gotta play two. You gotta be mindful of that, right?
Around,
You gotta be mindful of that. Like there's so many remixes that I made that had cool bits in the intro that I had to kind of be like, shit, I can't post that from there because people want to hear exactly what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Like people have to recognize exactly what it is in the first couple of seconds, 1.5, 2, 3 seconds, depending on the platform.
Do you have a social media manager, or is it mostly you?
Mostly me.
So it's always been you, even the vlogs and everything. That's all been you.
Well, James. Shout out to James.
Big up James.
Shout out to
James, man.
Amazing, the greatest, the GOAT, incredible.
Finally, James.
I'm so chill.
Yeah.
Always.
That's who he is, man. That's who he is. That's who he is. Such a good guy.
cool
Again,
stuff,
I mean, I say this about everybody, but you gotta surround yourself with good people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. James came on board. James and Virus, they used to listen to me every day. Early. And I saw James on Facebook. I saw he was into photography. I used to idolize DJ Camilo from New York. And he had this person that used to follow him around, take pictures and shit like that. I was like, I want to do that. I pulled James. And what? Million years later.
Yeah.
Best friends. Best friends. But yeah, man. James used to edit all my videos and stuff like that. And then I started getting into video editing myself. And now I just edit all my shit. James helps me out as well because he could do a lot of things better than I can too. But yeah, Matthew's also into editing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, heavy boy. Heavy.
Yeah, man. I might need a bathroom break.
Oh yeah, you need one now?
Same?
All right.
The longest one.
We're gonna take a break. Come back now.
2021.
Coffee Jones 1, 2. Coffee Jones 1, 2.
Yeah, everything.
Tom Puffy.
2021, I went to Sujit's music summit in LA. And
You get hit?
Competition perfect.
and I was Sujit told me to come up where he was at. Sujit's my agent from LA, SKAM.
Okay.
So I was just laying back there in the section with them or whatever. Lil John was DJing. And Sujit was like, yo, come let me introduce you to John. Thing. So Sujit tapped John. And John turned around. Oh shit, Puffy's here. I was like,
Lil John, you can't.
yo, what the fuck? Like,
He gotta be one of the realest humans in the world, B. I will never forget. I don't remember what song it was at the time. It was this was around a little before it turned on for what? He had a song that like real bad. And I had just tweeted about it.
Yeah. He probably saw it and was
I sent me a beat. I just saw my bio that was a DJ. Man just sent me the song. I was like,
that's mad.
What?
But that's John, B. Like, super cool dude, B.
I love that, man.
He's
Super
like,
cool dude.
What?
Oh shit, Puffy's here. Got me in. He literally went on the mic, was like, yo, DJ Puffy in the motherfucking building. Crazy.
Yo, that's
Rooftop Dream Hotel, highlight room.
That is insane.
Crazy.
I was excited to see you.
I want to ask you generally about because with all this, success takes a lot of time, right? And this is generally with your relationships in general, not only intimate partnerships, but I mean friendships, family. How do you manage like still feeding them whilst and feeding them emotionally, giving them time, resources, anything that they need? It just being there on Christmas Day, that kind of thing. How do you still manage that, knowing that you are all over the place?
Well, first of all, let me not take anything away from them because the people in my life, again, are so understanding and so accommodating. You know, I miss a lot, but I try to be there when I can And they kind of just rock with it, man. Like, they're kind of just like, all right, yeah, you here today, we can make the most of it. You know, like a lot of my friends, Virus especially, is be like, yo, Imani Island, we gotta sit down, drink a thing. You know what I mean? I mean, Brenton, not here no more right now, but I go to, well, I probably can't say this because he probably doesn't want me to talk about where he lives right now. But,
Okay.
So yeah.
You good? We go there though. Right.
We'll probably just
Move on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like all my friends and my family, they're just really accommodating and they want the best for me. And if the best means that I have to be absent, then so be it. And then when I'm present, they make the most of it.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all it is.
But do you ever take time like in your schedule to prioritize? Well, I don't know, whether it be like mom's birthday is this day, so I have to do this on this day.
Yo, big up to my mom, straight true. My mother does not care, bro. She's just like, my birthday's another day. If you go to work, go to work.
Say.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah, she's cool, bro. Like, she's cool. But when I'm home, like, we would lime, like, we have, if I go and run errands, like, I'll be like, yo, you liming with me today? And she would just tag along in the car. And...
You used to feature her a lot more on your socials.
Yeah, but again, home is home. Right?
I get it.
Right.
No, I appreciate separation.
But let me ask you this, bro. You ever get like, I mean, on the road like often. How does that affect you emotionally being on the road, especially for extended periods of time?
It is very difficult. Very, very difficult. And I feel like I've said this so many times and I just said it and I can say it again. It's when we have or when I have those things that I attach to home and self and Andre is personal. When you're out there for so long, it is so easy to only become brand. Which is why I hold on or I hold so tightly to everything that's personal. And it is when I now keep those things and I don't allow it to bleed over. Because when you're out there, it's so easy to just do that because that's all you're doing.
Can you explain
you're
that?
Plugged in.
Can you explain that a bit more of like kind of like you, I guess, feel kind of I'm assuming like disconnected with Andre and more connected with the brand all the time. What does that feel like? Like, I guess when you come home from doing the set, you in the hotel room, it's just you. Now you have to be Andre. Like, how does that feel?
Yo, sometimes when I go in the hotel room, like, if I don't like call somebody or I don't have a conversation with one of my friends to bring me back to earth, I just never come back. Like, I go to sleep and I'm Puffy still.
Wow. You gotta get grounded.
Yeah. So my friends and everything that I hold close to home, that's my ground. You know how he's got ground turntables?
Yeah.
That's the ground. Sometimes, I mean, there's a time and place for everything, right? So when you on the road, it's fine. You do that. You got interviews. You're a brand. You gotta have dinner with the promoter. You're a brand. You traveling. You thinking about the show. So you're still a brand. Right. You know what I mean? The schedule is always on your mind. There's always a time to be somewhere.
Right.
You know? That is all associated with brand. And when that is your life, and you kind of just run in the hamster wheel, you need, it's so important to have things to bring you back home. So them FaceTime calls, them group chats, all of them things.
Have there been times that you felt like, yo, this shit ain't worth it? Yo, look, fuck this shit.
I've had breakdowns on tour. I've had Matthew sent me a reel video the other day. You ever see that reel with a white dog is a white dog, and it's going when you on the verge of a mental breakdown and nobody ain't answering. Matthew was like, "This is you."
Can you explain that breakdown? Like, how did you feel? What happened during the breakdown?
It's often triggered by a few things. It could be triggered by a not so good set. It could be triggered by alcohol. It could be triggered by a bad interaction with somebody. 2 out of the 3 or all 3. But yeah, like the first thing that I feel like I don't want to do it anymore. And then I feel like this is not worth what it is. Kind of going through the emotions right now. And then I always think like there's something better. Oh, I should have continued doing IT. I could have gone, but I should have gone back to school.
You get those
You ain't
feelings.
got the, sorry.
Yeah.
I know, sorry, okay. That just shocked me because I assume you have a degree, right?
I never finished.
Oh, I feel good, you know. I don't know to break this to you, but I feel good, you know.
I may be okay.
I
But
feel
you
good.
but you still have those feelings.
That's
I've-
so interesting, bro.
Up to recently, I've
Wow.
probably like last year.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
And so, and this is actually
But
one.
this is, I mean, is a human thing, right? And I mean, I had this conversation with myself up to yesterday because I was dealing with something difficult that was difficult yesterday, and I was like, man, this shit really ain't worth it, bro. And then I had to snap out of it, and you kind of gotta be like, you are not your thoughts. You gotta tell yourself that.
Man, that is it.
You are not your thoughts.
You are not your thoughts.
I am, because your brain
Does what it wants.
does what it wants.
It's
No,
so
that's
funny,
not me.
and it does
So you
want
gotta separate.
That-
Then you gotta remember why.
exactly.
I love this. This is something that I absolutely love. Then I remember my family. And
Does that like build pressure though? Like you feel like you have to do this because of the same reasons you just mentioned?
Before, yes. No. Because I know that the people that I think of when I do this, they don't want that pressure on me. So
That's clean.
I don't put that on myself.
That's clean. That's so clean, dog.
I find it very interesting. I think many people would, just because we've been seeing Puffy for the last 10 years. To think that the Puffy that we see coming off flights and always smiling and thing, knowing that he gets sad, even as you say it, it's just
bro.
really, it's just new for
Word.
me.
I get really sad, man. Yeah.
How you
But-
cope? If you don't mind saying how do you cope with your sadness, for lack of a better word?
I've been really into biohacking recently. So just understanding chemically how I can make myself my best self. So understanding things like serotonin, dopamine.
Okay. Neurotransmitters, all kind of things. Yeah, all that stuff.
How do I make my brain better? I know alcohol probably isn't the best thing,
It is,
but I do it in
we move.
moderation.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't go ham on that no more. That's
Yeah.
terrible. Exercise is important.
Yeah.
Shout out to my trainer. I always make sure when I'm home, a damn day. When I'm overseas, if I could jump on Zoom or a FaceTime and he tell me what to do. Yeah, I need that because exercise makes me feel good. Eating healthy makes me feel good. Little things like 100% dark chocolate.
Right.
Make you feel good.
My bad. I thought you meant something else. But that too, though. That makes you feel good too.
So good.
Anyway, bro, right. Yeah.
Good sleep.
Go ahead, Mosi.
Yeah.
Prioritizing rest.
Mhm.
Understanding how rest works.
So you sleep.
I don't fuck around my sleep no more, bro.
People think that you are the grinding type, hustle, 4 hours of sleep. I grind and I go in.
it's not how long you spend on something, but it's how efficient you are in a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So if I dedicate an hour to something, I could
Quality.
do 2 days. Yeah, it's the quality of work that I'm doing. It is very deep work. It is very, very deep work.
Is there
You're well read, sir.
Therapy as part of your regimen? Or?
I haven't been to therapy in a while, but I should go back.
Why?
I remember what it did for me when I was in a not so good place. And I think I'm in a good place now. So maybe it would still be good. You know what I mean? I came out on the better end of the stick after I went through it. And I've always felt like, obviously, if I did it when I was in a bad place, I always tell myself there's always a part of me that say, well, yo, you're not that bad, so you don't need to go back, right? But imagine if you keep at it, right?
Then you don't go back to that place, probably.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I don't think that therapy has to be one way, you know? So in my defense now, I do have forms of therapy.
Right.
I call Matthew and I talk to him.
That's nice.
I talk to my friends. There are people that I could bounce ideas off of.
Yeah.
That's important.
You know? I could talk to my dad. I could talk to my parents, my mom, my other mom, you know? That's a form of therapy too. Just sitting down and expressing yourself and saying what it is you want to say without feeling judged.
Right.
Yes, that's it.
Let me ask you this, and it kind of spelled, similar conversation. Time management.
Key.
And life management. You're a person who's constantly moving and constantly, have things going on. Your time management has to be impeccable. Bro, honestly, walk us through your routine, like a daily routine.
I don't, believe it or not, I don't really have much of a routine, especially like when I'm on the road. It's just get where you need to be for the time that they give you, honor that, and keep it moving. But I could give you examples. So for instance, I'm on tour in Asia with Daijiro, my agent over there. Shout out to Daijiro. Japanese and time, you don't fuck around. 12 o'clock is 11:53. Do you understand?
That man's serious about respect and that's
Bro,
things like for real.
Different culture.
For real.
And it makes me like, I kid you not, when I was in the studio and I had to be here for 2, I was like cheese on bread, like doing bear jump, freaking out. But I didn't want to speed up here and do bear jump.
Yeah.
But I every time I'm late, I feel like I'm doing something bad to Daijiro.
Oh.
I'm like,
Regardless if Daijiro's involved.
he doesn't have to be involved.
It's like Daijiro is the mark.
No, Daijiro is the definition of punctuality.
Right.
And if I'm not there at
Look at
53,
man, Daijiro was a slave, man.
yo, I've learned so much from him. Like he doesn't like to take kudos from it or for it, but just such a good person, man. And again, you gotta surround yourself with good people. And
I again, this is the second time I'm asking the question of DJ adjacent, but I found it interesting that you mentioned that you try to limit alcohol when DJing. So like I assume it's difficult on the road. It's a show after show after show after show. Like how do you like monitor like your alcohol intake?
so let me answer the first question and then I'll answer that.
Mm-hmm.
Typical day, wake up, breakfast. Daijiro and I, we don't miss breakfast. Staying in some decent hotels.
You can't miss breakfast.
Yeah, okay. Talk.
Go get that continental.
You in Bali.
Yeah.
You don't want Miss Breakfast.
Yeah, you're in an Ashanti. In Ashantis in Bali.
Indonesia.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
there
said
are
no
shanties.
problem.
There are Ashantis, yeah. There are Ashantis, but he's not in them.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
If I went, I'll be on one.
they got shanties
'Cause I'm
in Bali,
poor.
but let me tell you, the
We ain't there, we
shanties
ain't
in Bali
there.
different.
Yeah.
They real
Oh, them in the
nice.
Bajan Shanties.
Yeah, but
And Gavin Nation.
We moving. Yeah,
you don't want Miss Breakfast because you know it's some good food,
Okay.
Right.
right?
Okay.
And again, something that contributes positively to your performance and your
Good
mental health.
nutrition. For
Good
sure.
nutrition, good
It's
food,
important.
right?
Yeah.
Fruits, incredible. So we eat. I may, and don't forget we're on the Asia tour here. I may have to do something with an embassy, get a visa for something.
Oh,
Right.
So we may go to the embassy very early after breakfast. Then we might probably do some networking. So we might go to like a day club or a venue that, you know, he might want to meet the music director at, or that's the latest pop-in place that, you know, maybe I might want to play there. So I might want to go
Take it
just
in.
look around, get familiar with it, see what I have to do or where I need to be at mentally in order to play that specific venue. And then we may have lunch or dinner with the promoter. But in between that lunch or dinner time, that daytime, after scoping the venues, we may either rest or I might do like laundry or something. And then we have dinner either by ourselves or with the promoters. And then we would either go back to the hotel and I would take a nap before the show, or we would stay at the venue. Because the venue, a lot of the times there's a restaurant within the venue.
Right. To accommodate you guys.
Yeah, so we would just stay in the green room and hang out until it's showtime. I like to be present at my shows at least an hour before to hear what's being played, to get marinated, to get acquainted with my environment, see what I need to do. Yeah, I don't ever show up just before and jump on. It's not good.
And no diva antics.
Nah.
No fashionably late.
He must only have pillows from this certain.
I have been told by promoters that I am one of the easiest acts to deal with. And this ties in with your question when it comes to limiting alcohol. On tour, rarely, I don't drink 40%. I do not drink liquor on tour. Red wine is on my rider.
Okay.
Red wine. Sick.
Red wine.
Why?
Less alcohol percentage. I like it more. It's cheaper.
That's not your cost at that point though.
That's not your problem either.
No.
That's not your problem either.
But it's more accommodating.
Okay.
That's like
You're not gonna look at my rider and see 6 bottles of Moet or like
Yeah.
Cristal,
Yeah.
an entire cake.
green Skittles.
What do you say? What red wine? What was your preference? What kind of red wine? is
Pinot
it?
Noir. If you don't have Pinot Noir, Cab Sauv is good.
Ah, cool. Okay.
Sick.
But yeah, so promoters literally come to me and be like, yo, you're like one of the easiest people to deal with.
I could be wrong, B. And like again, this is not calling you on anyway. This is genuine. I could be wrong. I believe in 2016 I booked you for a fete. And I think your writer had a bottle of Hennessy. And
It
it vexed.
did.
It vexed. It vexed on me.
It did.
I could have a bottle of money though.
That's trial and error. That happened.
2016 Puffy in 2023
You
Puffy.
understand? You
2016
I can only make these decisions after making mistakes.
Yeah.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
After knowing, okay, I can't be my best self if I'm. I can't be my best self if I'm 3 brandies in.
Right.
Some people might think that
Yo.
they need a little liquid encouragement to get it going.
Right.
It might be a nerves thing.
You don't believe that? Like you need it? No, sorry. I don't know that you were in need, but you don't believe that helps.
I think that's low-hanging
How
fruit.
does it help?
I don't know.
Does it numb your brain? Why do you want to numb your brain? You know how powerful your brain is?
Talk to he.
What are you bullying me?
You understand? I'm not saying I'm not gonna sip a little sand before I go on.
Right.
But
We don't need it.
I'm not going to feel loose. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da. I'll drink a little bit now because it's an oldie fellas or whatever.
yeah.
It's Sunday in Barbados.
Yeah.
My last,
Yeah.
my last couple of days here, but I'm not gonna allow myself to chug the whole drink and then I
I
can't
got you.
Yeah.
be present. But still, when look at how alcohol affects your brain and study what it is you're actually doing when you're DJing.
Mm-hmm.
How many songs do you play on average in an hour?
Enough.
60 to 100, right?
Easily.
Cool. That's 100 decisions that you've made in 60 minutes. Why are you gonna put something in your way of those 100 decisions? You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And like, I know knocking people that's got a drink, but I'm just saying, I know I got an understanding of how my brain works. And if I know that my brain gonna make 100 to 200 decisions, because sometimes you look at a song, you ain't want to play that. So that's another decision. You gotta make another.
Yeah.
You gotta, okay, sometimes you command F, you typing and you searching. A lot of the times, you don't plan your sets. You search every song. Why you gonna put something in your way to make you search slower, to make you think slower, to make you react slower? Sometimes you load up a tune and you don't know where the cue is.
Yeah, I don't think you miss the cue.
You miss the cue.
Mm-hmm.
There are times I wasn't drinking and I load up the song and I got it in, I figured it out, and I was like, yo, how the hell did I do that?
So it was present.
Because I was present. I was fully there and I was fully capable. And I used my superpower.
Use the extra 10%.
You understand? that extra sum. So like I just try not to put myself at a disadvantage.
Okay.
And while I don't know any other person for DJing or under the influence, but and I mean when I finish I can drink a little bit.
Okay,
Mhm.
so I want to ask this.
Mhm. Yeah.
How easy is it to get into trouble? With your status now.
Wait, so or like in general?
I feel like
well,
I could
no,
answer
I
this
mean-
question generally.
Yes, it could be a general answer,
Um,
but it speaks to you're a celebrity, bro. The kind of rooms, the access is different for you now. You're Puffy, bro.
I just
How has it been managing?
The bitches.
You still so much with me?
yo, this guy.
Bro, this is
It's not just-
No, you keep going. I'm just being an idiot.
This is
It's
EXO,
not
Marcus
just
said
that,
the
though.
bitches.
I had EXO and I had Beehive. Please
Yeah, you're doing
forgive
straight, to
me.
be honest.
Anyway, huh?
You're doing straight.
Yo, that's
Go
a
ahead.
terrible conversation. Combination. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right, generally. Go ahead.
Oh, my
Yeah.
answer? Let me say that it's just, again, important to be very mindful. It is very easy. I am known for learning from other people's mistakes.
Okay.
So I see what happens online and I say, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be in that position. And therefore, there's certain things that you kind of got to implement and you definitely have to be aware of. One of the main things, everybody ain't got your best interest at heart, my G.
Real.
Yeah.
And if you ain't got it, then you ain't Potter.
Do you? And I think this is actually my last question. I think for the show. But do you have difficulty trusting people now that you're at that same level, or that hasn't really changed much?
I think I always knew that I had to be careful. I think we should all know that you gotta be careful with us as humans. But I would say, yeah, with as you climb higher in this social ladder, you kind of just gotta be more careful.
Puffy, this was an amazing
Are we
episode.
done?
Yeah,
You got more questions?
we do. What the things we do? I just I
We
know.
won't stop. We will not stop. We will not
We
stop.
really appreciate you coming on the show. Definitely. Is there anything you want to plug? You want to just say just a little bit about your tour so that people know what to look out for on your social media, all that kind of stuff.
We on tour all year. Going to LA on Wednesday.
Gee.
What a sentence.
We celebrating signing to SKAM as well as my girl Jasmine Solano's birthday. She's one of the founders of a platform on Twitch, which was started in the pandemic called Clubhouse Global.
I didn't ask
I
you
love-
anything
I love
about
thing-
streaming, B.
We can talk about streaming now.
A little thing called Clubhouse.
Not the app
not the
Clubhouse.
app.
Okay.
Not the app
Don't,
Clubhouse.
like, I
Thanks for that.
We ain't talk about streaming. We ain't talk about you crossing 100K on YouTube from DJing alone.
Crazy.
Which is crazy in terms of copywriting. Like, I actually don't know how you did that.
Boy, me neither. Me neither.
We got a part two eventually.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, there's just so much going on. But yeah, we're going to LA, celebrate Jasmine's birthday, do that event with her, celebrate signing to SKAM. Suja and the boys are ready to celebrate. After that, I go to Jamaica. Then I come back, go to Martinique. And then after that, where are we going? I think I go to Toronto after that. But yeah, we all over this year. We all over. A lot of things to come. A lot of new music. I could drop a song a month right now.
Listen,
Easily.
man,
Love
cheese
that,
on
love that.
bread.
Easily.
Love that.
We got some. Me and Vaughn got
I know
songs
that's
from
if you
2
mean you
years
or you mean
ago.
Vaughn.
Yo,
Me and Vaughn got songs from
that
2
joint-
years ago
that
that
joint-
just sitting.
Brick
Bro,
from brick.
We got features out of this world.
When they do any dog, man. I ain't
Crazy.
ready.
We got features from incredible artists.
Yo, Dre.
Um,
This is wild. And I can take this opportunity now. It is we know where you come from. Like,
man,
Directly.
I never forget.
bro,
DJ Puffy.the, listen to my radio, dog.
Jesus Christ, man! Listen to my radio,
You
bro.
understand? You understand?
Bro, it is
I would never forget that.
incredible to see this journey. It is wild.
Listen to me radio.
You had to go there.
I know, bro. We're not
wild.
moving half of that.
Sparky, 32.
Dog, we can never stop telling you, congratulations, and I'm happy about that. I would
you.
never get
Thank
tired of
you.
that. I know the men here would never get tired of saying congrats, bro.
Thank you.
And you are really leading the charge. We really appreciate you. We really appreciate you sharing, dog. This was amazing. And I just want to say, big man, that you inspire us in many ways. And you know that. But even the ways that you don't know, there are many ways that you have inspired us. And we appreciate you, bro. And if Matthew allows, this will probably be the best podcast we've ever done.
Don't say that.
Management pending.
With that being said, my brother, we love you, Puffy.
Yeah.
With that being
Man,
said,
thank you. For real.
INO Podcast. We out.
Thanks for watching the INO podcast, information, knowledge, observation. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you soon.